Howdy, y'all, and welcome into the midweek edition of the Royals Rundown podcast presented by Royals Review. I am Jacob Milham, they're Jeremy Greco, and we have the one and only Shaun Newkirk joining us for our All-Star Break edition. Jeremy, how many Pop-Tarts did you have to give Shaun to come on?
I gave him every Pop-Tart I have.
Oh my gosh. Shaun, is that a lot of
He
Pop-Tarts?
was very expensive, but he's worth it.
I love Pop-Tarts, man. Like cinnamon, brown sugar cinnamon is always a go-to, but strawberry is I just got to go the classic on strawberry. I think
For sure.
Two of the, I wouldn't say two of the goated flavors, but two of like the safest flavors out there, I would say. I don't have Pop-Tart money anymore. I guess just for doing the podcast, I get the toaster tarts from Aldi.
I'm sure
That's what Max
Those are
said.
probably better, honestly.
They
Aldi brand stuff is no joke.
Yeah. But while we were talking about some quote unquote breakfast pastries, we're actually here to talk about the Kansas City Royals. So we are recording this on Wednesday evening, little less than 24 hours after the All-Star game. A very exciting game. We'll talk about that later on in the show, but we do have a couple of transactions that we need to talk about with the Royals. Plus, we are going to look into our crystal balls and look into the second half of the 2025 season. But before we get into all that, make sure you go check out royalsreview.com, or you can check out Royals Review on social media. Could be Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky. If you need Royals content, you got it over at Royals Review. Alrighty, so first and foremost, Shaun, thanks for joining us today. It's good to have you on. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but for folks who are unaware of who you are, can you give us a little 1-minute bio? Come on, man.
I'm a nobody. So I've known Jeremy here for quite a while, just from Royals Review, and then obviously you've known Jacob for Twitter for a little while as well. But for those who aren't kind of the old heads at Royals Review, anybody that's joined in, I don't know, the past 3-4 years at least, since I left, used to have a good time over at Royals Review with everybody. Did a lot of prospect stuff. Did a lot of the sabermetric stuff as well. I thought, thanks for the courtesy of Max for letting me kind of be on the masthead for a few years, and kind of just backed away over time just as I got more busy in normal life. But my passions are baseball, football, and analytics and finance. So kind of cross section of those 3 or 4 things. So.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I will tell you this, Shaun. Before our paths crossed, I didn't realize how much of your stuff that I was reading, especially on the sabermetric stuff, as I was getting into it.
Appreciate it.
Really appreciate your work there.
My path.
All right. So All-Star game. Did either one of you guys watch? I watched the whole thing. I had a great time.
I watched the MLB at bad highlights.
There you go.
That's about it. So I saw the highlights, but that's the most I got.
And honestly, all I really needed to see was Schwarber.
Yeah.
In the swing off. That's all that really mattered to me. So I also just watched the highlights. I checked the box score. I'm like, any of the Royals going to do anything that's going to get them a special card in MLB The Show tomorrow? No? All right.
Unfortunately not. And yeah, it was, I think if you were wearing a Royals uniform, all in all, it was a good night. Kris Bubic, I think was the lone black eye. He's, he hasn't been bad, right? Like he's been an all-star pitcher this season. Just hasn't looked as sharp over the past, what would you say, Jeremy? Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe?
Yeah, ever since he got that extra rest before the Yankees game, he's not been quite as dominant. And we talked about that at the time and how, it's easy to say, well, he got the extra rest, the team ruined him. And it could be that. It could also be that the team saw this kind of thing coming and was trying to head it off, and it just wasn't enough. It could be any host of things. It could also be, man, that was the Yankees and he got screwed on a few calls. And then, he just wasn't a sub-2 ERA pitcher. I think that's also like a reasonable take, is that maybe Kris Bubic is very good, but not sub-2 ERA as a standard.
Maybe so.
Yeah, I think that'd be my thoughts to chime in. Like,
I don't think I believe that. I think he's a sub-1 ERA guy personally. I think
yeah, you think
the umpires just stop screwing him. He'll get there.
Yeah, like looking at his. So, like, FIP-wise, fielding and pitching, he's at, and so this is not even before that. I could probably get it before that. But he's at 2.7, and he's got an ERA let's call it 2.5. So, like, The FIP numbers like it. The XFIP, which kind of normalizes home runs, it's like 3.4, and so like still in still kind of the advanced analytics see it as like a sub 3.5 ish ERA pitchers if you want to convert XFIP
Still
to
very
ERA,
good,
but still very good. Yeah, I mean, still in that realm, but right,
and
probably not a sub 2.
The funny thing about the FIP to me, though, is that the FIP, as the ERA has gone up, the FIP has come down. So in some ways, the advanced analytics think he's pitching better.
Yeah.
Because I remember when he had a sub 2 ERA, his FIP was up over 3.
Was it? Oh yeah,
I'm looking at his rolling FIP.
But while you look up those numbers, Shaun, I do want to say, so sure. How bad could it be? You know, it was an all-star game, it was an exhibition game. Well, at the end of the day, Bubic, he was charged with 3 runs and kind of really put the AL in an even deeper hole, which thankfully they came back to tie things up.
Who put the AL in the original hole, Jacob, just so we can put this into perspective a little bit?
A Detroit Tigers up-and-comer by the name of Tarek Skubal.
Yeah, the guy who won this Young last year and will probably win it this year.
That guy.
So what you're telling me is that even a very good starting pitcher pitching 1 inning can have a couple of bad pitches and his line can look really bad and maybe it just doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
On the Bubic point really quickly. Pre Yankees. Let's just go. So we'll go from day one, the Milwaukee start versus up to Detroit. So right before he played the Yankees, 1.43 ERA, 2.46 FIP, and then since the Yankees,
maybe I was looking at the Sierra.
Could have been, yeah. So 4.86 ERA, so 3-run jump in ERA, but 3.38 FIP. So like that kind of maybe shows how volatile ERA is. Now I know his FIP went up a bit, but still, even in this rough stretch, a 3.3 FIP and a 3.55 XFIP, that's still pretty good, right? And so that's pretty close to kind of maybe where his season-ish numbers are for the most part. His FIP during the bad stretch is 3.38. His XFIP over his season is 3.39. So like I think there's somewhere in there that's basically, yeah, he's probably true talent-wise, mid-3, maybe even low 3s, you can argue, because his ballpark is pretty good for him. But, you know, somewhere like a 3-ish ERA pitcher, which obviously is still a great pitcher, a top, whatever you want to call it, a top 20, top 30 across the league. So health will be the big thing, though, obviously, or, you know, being able to actually pitch however many, because he already had 100 this year.
I do wonder if FIP undervalues him a little bit because of its reliance on strikeouts. And Bubic gets his fair number of strikeouts, but he also gets a lot of pop-ups. And I think that's by design with the quote-unquote rising fastball that he implements.
You're going to love this. FIP includes infield fly balls because they're basically strikeouts.
I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. Did they update that, or has that always been that way?
I think it's always been the case. At least, like, sorry, and I might be wrong, but I know there's a ton of research that basically says infield fly ball is just as good as a strikeout. Runners don't move. It's an out. It's basically it's almost the perfect scenario other than a strikeout for a batter, for a hitter. Oh my gosh, batter for a hitter, for a pitcher. Oh my gosh.
I don't think that's a wrong way to evaluate it either, because like you said, it has the same impact on the surrounding game.
I don't see that in the formula. I've got home run, something times home runs plus something times walks plus hit by pitch minus something times the strikeouts divided by innings pitched plus the FIP constant.
Yeah.
So I don't see pop-ups there. I thought that the point of FIP was to just narrow it down to home runs, walks, strikeouts.
Yeah, sorry. Obviously, I'm trying to think of. They added it to something because basically maybe it was WOBA. They added anyway. Apologies. You're right. Obviously, fielding independent pitching is going to be just obviously fielding independent pitching. So yeah, my bad. But I don't know. Is he that much of a infield fly ball?
I know the Royals as a team get the most fly balls in MLB. They also hit the most the most infield flies, the most pop-ups in MLB. They were, or maybe not the most, but like top 5, and they're also tops in hitting them.
He's 30.
So I don't know what his numbers are. I'd have to look him up.
Yeah, he's 30. I mean, he's his 10%, but like there's guys that are at 10, 10.1. So he's top. Let's just call him top 20. So yeah, I mean, he's in that realm of a infield fly ball-ish pitcher. And I mean, the difference between him at 10% and who's at 30 and like let's go to like the 15th best is 11.6. So 1.6. I mean, that could be 2 extra infield fly balls. So yeah. I mean, he's kind of in that range exactly of being a decent fly ball kind of pitcher.
Okay.
Infield fly ball pitcher, excuse me. But soft contact, you're right, is definitely his game for the most part. But yeah, I mean, he still does have pretty good amount of strikeouts. I mean, 9.5 or whatever per nines.
Yeah, I remember that Chris Young back in 2015, that was his calling card, was he got a lot of pop-ups. He didn't strike anybody out, but he got a lot of pop-ups, and he had some success with that. He also got shelled sometimes when they didn't get under it. But I think the combination of the pop-ups and the strikeouts is really working for Bubic here.
Yeah, seems like it. And unfortunately, he got pretty unlucky last night. The 2 hits, a walk, ended up being charged with 3 runs. But still, like, this is overall, it's a win. It just wasn't a great showcase for Kris Bubic. I would say it was a very strong showcase for the other Royals players in attendance. Bobby Witt Jr., he went 1 for 2 with a run scored and 2 RBI. It was kind of cool seeing him drive in Michael Garcia, and let's see here then Garcia in his own right. What did he go? He went 0 for 1.
Had a walk and a stolen base.
Yeah, he went 0 for 1, but that walk, the stolen base, was very pivotal in the game itself, and it took a pretty nice play to rob him of that infield single from Eugenio Suarez, which I was, first and foremost, I was really glad to see that Suarez was not injured after he got hit on the hand by a pitch. That would have been a big cloud to overshadow the game, I would say. And then finally, Carlos.
Yeah, that's nightmare.
Go ahead.
That's nightmare scenario stuff, right? Whether or not they're going to sell, whatever, TBD, but like if they are going to sell, literally probably the best player available on the trade market gets hurt in an exhibition game. Yeah, that's a tough, especially like if it's a broken wrist or a hamate bone injury. It's like,
yeah, that they are. And I was
ask Blake Mitchell about that.
Yeah. Thankfully, we can talk about him later on in the show. But like, I know it was the same thing with Pittsburgh Pirates prospect Connor Griffin. Like he's a top 10 prospect in baseball, and he got hit on the hand by a pitch in the Futures game. Like, how if you want to have an argument against exhibition games in general, folks or big time players at that level getting hurt in those exhibition games is really the basis of many.
Well, and that's why the NFL has switched to the skills competition in flag football, right? Because they don't want their guys getting hurt in an exhibition match.
Some of the people, I think Aaron Judge had left the building by like the 6th inning. Like some of the players left early from the game. No, I'm not kidding you. They were gone. Like they didn't even stick around for the full game.
I don't want to criticize guys too much for that kind of thing, but also as a fan, it's not very cool. Like I get it as a person who has worked, that like I'm done working. I would like to go enjoy my vacation now.
Yeah, the only break you get, the only 4-day break you get, or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? The only real true time off they get.
But also as a fan, it's a little bit of a bummer to be like, hey, we would have loved to see you cheering on the sideline during the swing off, Aaron.
Yeah, and that's that's another thing was players leaving early. Did that factor into who was available in the swing off?
It had to have, didn't it?
No. They decided that before it was before the game. I thought that too. They did. Yep, they did. Yeah,
they decided before the game that Jonathan Aranda was going to bat in the swing off.
Aaron Boone.
What is wrong with Aaron Boone? Fire him.
Yeah, I know.
That's not even the Yankees. Just fire him.
Yeah, you have the runner up in last year's home run derby sitting on the bench in Bobby Witt Jr. and
you've got the best slugger in the world on your team.
Yeah, and it would have been one thing to like if he went to Judge and Judge's like, no, I kind of just want to go home. Like, okay, but Bobby was like, heck yeah, I'll do it. Like, obviously it was after the fact, but Bob seemed like he was very much like, oh yeah, sure, I would love to be in it. So like, yeah, had they gone to him and said, hey Bob, if you want to be in the swing off potentially, he would have been like, hell yeah, but whatever reason, yeah, Jonathan Aranda's the guy to go to for that. But they also had Kyle Stowers. It was such a bizarre swing off. Kyle Stowers. I guess kind of get that, but it was just like there's so many great stars, and then it was like we've got.
They said that Kyle Stowers only found out minutes beforehand that he was doing it.
Yeah.
So I guess they decided it, but nobody bothered to tell him.
To be fair, I didn't foresee that happening, but it was a cool way to end the game. I would say, Kyle Schwarber going nuclear.
This question that's been running through my mind ever since last night is: everyone loved the swing off to end the All-Star game. All over social media, everyone was saying, "This is so cool! I love this." So the question naturally becomes: should that be implemented in the regular season?
The Royals would never win an extra innings game if that's the case.
That's why I'm opposed to it.
Okay. I mean, never. Let's be clear here. 0 wins in the extra innings.
Yeah, Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez help you out, but then what? Kyle is. I mean, you have Jack Caglione, I guess, and maybe if you're feeding him meatballs, he'll handle it. But yeah, in a game like baseball, I don't think you want regular season games decided by that one aspect when there's so many things that go into a baseball game.
And like baseball's, I don't want to say it's come so far, but it seems like baseball has tried to do a good job of reestablishing itself as a game that you can score runs in without just relying on the long ball. Like
I don't know. The Royals' biggest problem with scoring runs this year, to my mind, has been a lack of power.
It has, but that also translates to doubles and triples and not just balls over the fence.
Yes.
So all in all, lastly, Carlos Esteves. He did really good. He had a couple of strikeouts.
Scoreless. Yeah, was it 3 strikeouts and 1 scoreless?
No,
it
should have been
2?
Just the 2, because I think it was Olsen and Tatis.
Still. Nice bounce back game for him after the disaster of Sunday.
Yeah. Thank goodness. But I would love for folks to tell us how they felt about the Royals on the big stage down there in Atlanta. It was a rocking venue. Like, it looked like a lot of fun. And heading into that game, I was of the stance where I was like, this All-Star break has been okay. You know, the home run derby wasn't great. None of the really surrounding programming. Yes, it did lack a little.
Been the last few years, even including last year, I think there's been a distinct lack of top tier slugging talent in the home run derby. It feels like more and more guys are opting out of it. Is that just me, or are you guys seeing that too?
I have to look back. It didn't feel that bad. Like, I don't know.
I know Pete Alonso played in it last year, and he's the biggest star the home run derby has. But it was him, and like Alec Boehm had no real business, I don't think, being in the All-Star game or in the home run derby. Aaron Judge hasn't done it, and I don't know how long. Shohei Ohtani skips it. Schwarber skips it.
Yeah,
this year Witt and Ramirez skipped it.
Yeah,
it's just like Eugenio Suarez is one of the biggest home run hitters. I mean, we did get Big Dumper at least this year. Yeah. But it just feels like lots and lots of guys are just either not getting invited or they're skipping out on it.
Last year had, like, obviously Alonso, but like, yeah, I mean, like, you know, Teoscar Hernandez won it. I mean, he's obviously doesn't have no power, but it's not like, you know, a big slugger name.
He's not a premier slugger.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. Boom, like Jose Ramirez, yeah, he's perpetually doing 20, 30 seasons, whatever. But like, he's not like, oh man, when I think of home run hitters, he's probably like the 30th or 40th person I think of, not like the top.
Though I have to say, Gunnar Henderson, I thought was a really good choice for the home run derby last year, and he did awful. Oh, and this year, what is Jazz Chisholm doing in the home run derby?
Yeah, some of those feel like they're just like not bottom of the barrel, but they're kind of like, you know, we're kind of out of guys to go with, so like let's just find some. I mean, to his credit, like, I mean, maybe it's just an illusion of Yankee Stadium. It does seem like Chisholm has a nice little like uppercut swing that, you know, he can kind of I don't know if the golf term is, but chip shot some home runs. But yeah, I mean, it might just again be just a Yankee Stadium kind of illusion where it's like they seem like they're more home runs than they are. If he went to any other ballpark, he'd have fewer home runs.
Yeah, and I think that's what he showed down in Atlanta. 3 whole home runs, just really laughable. I think that's the perfect word for it. It was whether you're a Yankees hater or not, it was a laughable performance.
Additional hate watch for Michael Garcia though, like, you know, like they even had a screenshot of Garcia, was it Estevez and Chisholm on the mat, like during a pitching break or whatever, a timeout, like all together, and so like they had to be in the huddle together. I forget who the pitcher was. I think it was Chisholm, or I think it was Estevez, but it might not have been. But anyways, yeah, that was funny. That, you know, I'm sure that they had a good little rivalry going for this weekend, or All-Star weekday now, whatever you call it.
Speaking of mound visits, did you see what Vinny Pasquantino said? I think it was yesterday. Yeah. He says, for those of you out there who haven't seen it, he said that he always goes to the mound for mound visits, but sometimes when the pitcher is one of the guys who speaks Spanish primarily, like Estevez or Serpa, and then, you know, Freddie Fermin, Salvador Perez both speak Spanish primarily. They go out there, they're all speaking Spanish, and Vinny doesn't speak it, so he's just standing there like nodding along, like, "Yep, cool, I love it. I love Vinny. I love him so much."
He gives a vamos, he said as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also his Cal Raleigh tweet that got a whole bunch of people
Yes.
riled up. I think I just have to read it because this is another thing that if you missed, he tweeted this out during the home run derby, and it was very much like meant in jest, but a lot of folks took
For
it
sure.
seriously. And it reads, "I'm Cal Raleigh. I hit a lot of home runs. I hit from both sides of the plate. I play the most valuable position. I have one of the coolest nicknames in sports. Screw you, man." Like that's how I read it. It's just
Yeah.
and people
Mariners
hate.
retweeted it. He even got the Mariners to retweet him. He had one too about how scary it is to be at first base with O'Neill Cruz at the
Yeah.
plate, which makes sense.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
O'Neill Cruz, he was putting up some crazy numbers there in the home
I-
run derby.
The MLB The Show this year had a thing where you could pick who you thought was going to win the derby, who you thought was going to hit the most home runs in a round, and who you thought was going to hit the longest home run. And the easiest pick I've ever made in my life was O'Neill Cruz to hit the longest home run.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I would have gone. I like James Wood. I didn't have literal money, but I had my figurative money on James Wood winning that. But obviously,
O'Neill Cruz's exit velocities,
Yeah.
though.
But so is Wood. Wood is like
Really?
second in exit.
Because he
I mean,
hit
like,
120, though?
dude, he's got some. He has some insane,
He does.
insane figures.
Cruz hits 120 against regular MLB pitching. I feel like he could do better against batting practice stuff.
Oh my boy, we are not going to besmirch my boy. Okay, so EV50. So remove the bottom 50 of your exit velocities. Just really look at the top ones. Cruz is first. Wood is third. Judge is second. So I mean, they're all right there together. Is all I'm saying. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I love Wood.
Yeah, I looked at it and I said 120 exit velocity. That's my guy.
I'll, in hindsight, knowing now that Adam Frazier is once again a Kansas City Royals player,
Golly, why did you bring that up?
because Vinny brought it up during the home run derby. Someone tweeted out proposing a quote unquote good piece of hitting derby, which is just guys punching the ball through the other way through the infield. And Vinny Pasquantino quote tweeted it and said the Adam Frazier derby. Like,
So it's Vinny's fault that Adam's back.
I think so. The lefty, he was already on Vinny's mind.
All right, I changed my mind. Trade him. Get rid of him. I can't take this.
If he's gonna be making calls like this. But hey, before we move on to current Royal stuff, anything on the All-Star game? I thought it was fun, but nothing really to take away.
I was glad that they had the guys in their team uniforms again instead of those. Like those uniforms are fine for the home run derby. I know you want to sell new uniforms. Great, cool, but let the guy, like, I need to know who these guys play for if I don't follow. I mean, I follow baseball enough. I know who all these guys play for because I have to write about it and talk about it with you guys. But for the average fan, which is what the All-Star game is really, who that's really for, I feel like for the majority of the really locked in fans like us, we see these guys on a regular basis. We know how good they are. We don't need to see them in the All-Star games. But for the average fan, they need to not just see them. They need to know who does Paul Skeens play for? Who do I want to watch if I want to watch more of that guy?
Random bit of Paul Skeens knowledge. So he started the game for the NL, and when he exited the game, the NL had a 2-run lead. That was already more run support he's gotten in like a regular, like in like 7 of his 21 starts this year. Like
Jeez.
It's on pace. He'd be a great fit for the Royals. Is all I'm saying. He would get similar.
Kris Bubic, if he'd stayed in the game, would have got a lot of run support the next inning too.
That is true. Has to be a strange feeling. Shaun, anything else on the All-Star game?
No, I mean it's worth putting on if it's in the background. Like I wouldn't make a day out of it necessarily, but yeah, I mean I had it on the background just kind of a little bit as I was doing some just work, and then I caught up with all the highlights on MLB at bats. It's fun. It's a fun little event, but whatever. The problem is like what are they? Not the Futures game. Sorry, I couldn't think of what if they changed the name. The real problem is the Futures game is too short now. The Futures game is only 7 innings, which deprives the full 9 innings of seeing extra reps from these prospects, and they do it because they have to get off the field for the celebrity softball game, which nobody watches. I couldn't tell you half the people. I am terminally online, and my brain is, irrevocably ruined by being online. I don't know who half these people are. I don't know who Lil Greg XR is. Like it's like I don't know. I don't want to watch the celebrity softball game. I would rather watch an extra 2 innings of the Futures game than see Bradley Cooper's sister-in-law hit a home run.
And we've got the whole issue of both of these things are happening on Saturday when the regular season games are still being played, yet we're recording this on Wednesday. Nothing is happening today. Then there's tomorrow. Nothing is happening tomorrow. Why are we cramming all this stuff together to the point that we're stealing from ourselves in more ways than one when you're choosing whether to watch the Futures game or whether to watch a regular season game, when you're shortening the Futures game to do this celebrity softball game, when you could do those after the All-Star game? Like the Futures game after the All-Star game, it'd be perfect. It'd be like, you just watched the stars of today, now watch tomorrow, watch the stars of tomorrow.
Hey, the marketing right.
The marketing does itself.
Hey, to piggyback on that point, if y'all missed it, the Hank Aaron home run number 715 tribute that they did was awesome.
I gotta check that out.
It was
I did not see
like the fireworks, the projection on the field, like first time I've ever seen something like this on this scale. So I loved it. I watched the whole thing. So highly suggest.
Did they do? I thought I read. I couldn't figure out what the tweet was saying. Did they like rename Truist Park to something, or like try to like?
Yeah, they renamed it temporarily for the night to the stadium that it was when Hank Aaron played for Atlanta.
Okay, that makes sense now. I
can't remember the name of it, but that's what they did.
Okay,
wasn't it something county?
Yeah, Fulton County, something or other, I think.
Yeah, because the new stadium's in Cobb County. I want to say.
I couldn't tell you.
As a person who spent 10 years living in Atlanta, I've got no freaking clue which county is which, so don't quote me on any of that.
Fair enough. All right. Hey, let's go ahead and move on to some of the Royals transactions that we have going on. So first, the one that is, I think the corresponding move is still kind of hanging out there. Like, what are they going to do about this? Michael Lorenzen heading to the 15-day IL with, I forget what it was. What was it?
Left oblique strain, grade 1.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which I looked that up, and it has an average return time of over a month.
Yeah, it's on.
And I can't remember if grade 1 is worse or grade 3 is worse.
I couldn't tell.
It always confuses me.
So he was sick on July 11th, and then he was scratched from that start on the 12th due to an illness. But I mean, you don't just wake up one morning with an oblique injury. I would think.
Yeah, it's if I had a nickel, as I wrote in the article where I was talking about the injury, if I had a nickel for every time a Royals pitcher was sick one day and then had a muscle strain the next day, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't many, but it's weird that it's happened that many times. But also, like, I don't know about you guys, but I have, and even before I got old, I have thrown out my back from coughing from a cold. I have injured my abs from puking when I had a stomach thing. So I know that there's like a lot of conspiracy theories out there that are like, the Royals were lying, he was hurt the whole time. I'm just not sure why they would do that, what the point would be, what the benefit would be. And I could absolutely see a scenario where, as you're saying, that thing doesn't usually show up overnight either. It could also be a scenario where he had something that was kind of nagging, and then it was aggravated either by the vomiting or by the bullpen session. You know, because that happens all the time where guys they're not sick, and it happened to Lucas Erceg last week where he went to a bullpen session. Oh no, my back froze up on me. I could pitch tomorrow, but I can't today. Sure. So there's no need for conspiracy theory. It's just a weird thing, I think.
It's just odd. Unless
you guys could think of a reason why it would make sense to say he was sick when he had his oblique strain.
Like, I think the only way it could make work conspiracy theory wise is if, like, you had, like in the NFL, you have, I guess, if you really had like such a stretch on your roster, you didn't want to add a guy to the 40-man. You were like, but we need the roster the 40-man space, but we don't want to put him on the eye. Like, that'd be the only way. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, it seems like it just kind of popped up. Which, I mean, he just pitched on July 6th, so it's a pretty quick. It's a pretty quick turnaround time for, like, they've been like because really it's only been, the last game was on Sunday, so really whatever you want to call that, I mean, it's a full of 5 or 6 days in reality that he really could have been like hidden to be hurt, right? It's not like he's not pitched in 2 weeks or 3 weeks to go. Where the heck did Jacob Milham go? It's been whatever you want to call it, less than 10 days. Reality more like less than like 7 days, really, if you count the past few days.
Reality, we don't have that here on the podcast, Shaun.
So who's the transaction? Because like I'm looking at the 40-man right now.
They don't have another starter on the 40-man.
Yeah, I'd say Kyle Wright.
Unless Kyle Wright's somehow healthy again.
That's what I'm thinking. I was like, where's he along? I forget where he is in his rehab, but you know what?
They activated him, but then he got hurt again, and he hasn't pitched since. So I'm not sure what's going on with him.
Yeah, so July 1st, he was shut down for 2 weeks with a grade 2 oblique strain. So we're back to more.
So he's probably out for a couple more weeks.
Yeah. Grade 1.
So that leaves
the good one. Grade 3 is the bad one. So 1 to 3. It's
okay.
The opposite of DEFCON.
So
DEFCON 5
so it could be on the low end, but still, I'm not counting on him being on the minimum.
And this isn't I'm sure if I'm doing my math correctly, a guy like Alec Marsh would be available to come off the IL, but he's not ready. Like, he's not ramped up. He hasn't gotten that clean bill.
No. And I can't imagine that the guy, the left-hander with the beard.
Noah Cameron?
No, the guy they just signed.
Dallas Keuchel?
Dallas Keuchel. I can't imagine he's ready. He's pitched in 1 game.
Rich Hill. What about our buddy Rich Hill?
Rich Hill is, I think, the guy who makes the most sense. Anybody is going to have to be added to the 40-man, so they're going to have to clear a 40-man spot. They have a couple obvious ones that they can do. Luke Maile and Tyler Gentry are both obvious choices, though if you do Luke Maile, you have to call up another position player from the minor leagues, but there are guys you could call up. They've got a whole bunch of them between Kevin Biggio, MJ Melendez. So they've got some options down there if they want to go that route. I don't know why it's like, well, who should you bother to call up for the minor leagues? But also Luke Maile's not doing anything. Salvi's catching again. Luke Maile's not going to get the catch. So there's no reason to keep him on the 26-man roster either.
Yeah, the only guy on the 40 in the minors that I can find that has started a game is Eric Sarantola. And he started, last game he started was May 9th, so not that long ago, but
not that recently either. That was 2 months.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I say that's the most recent one. I don't see. Oh no, never mind. Luinder Avila actually just started a game.
I was about to say,
was he pitching again? I thought he was still hurt.
Oh, is he? Okay, hold on.
I think he's still on the shelf.
He is. They didn't have him on the DL on the 40-man side, so my bad. Yeah, so on May 27th, he had a right shoulder impingement, so he might also be done. So it's either going to be Eric Santola maybe, or Rich Hill.
I think it's got to be Rich Hill.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that really makes any sense to me, because none of those other guys are ready. And if you're going to have somebody pitch bad, it might as well be the veteran that you don't mind cutting when you're done.
And that's what I was going to say, is because I'm sure that there are some folks out there who looked at what Rich Hill had done early to start his time in Omaha, and the numbers looked good, but he had a couple of really bad starts to start off July. He rebounded on the 13th, so the rest lines up with him possibly starting in lieu of Lorenzen. He had a 10 strikeout day against the Toledo Mud Hens. Like, that's a pretty good line for a 45-year-old. And like you said, Jeremy, this is the quintessential guy that when you have to cut him, you like shake his hand, thank you for what you did, and you keep moving.
We all know what he's here for, and he's here for a good time, not for a long time.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth?
Hopefully Cole Reagans will be ready to come back sooner rather than later.
Hopefully so.
Beginning of August, I think, is the earliest we could expect him back. So maybe just 2-3 starts from Hill before we get Reagans back. I don't know. We'll have to see how his rehab goes once he starts it.
We will. But yeah, things are pretty shallow up in AAA for the pitching depth.
And that's
go ahead, Jeremy.
That's with starting the season with so much pitching depth, right?
I mean, Keuchel pitched on the 12th, and he pitched 4 innings. I know that's not a lot. I mean, if you could think about it, he's got the 12th. Maybe he's been doing some bullpen or simulated games work recently. They don't have to use him again because of the break for whatever you want to call it, 5 days after, the season resumes. So I don't know.
Who? Maybe. I don't know.
I'm saying. But I guess
is Keuchel better than Hill at this point?
We're nitpicking Hill versus Keuchel. Those seem like the two that it's going to be.
I think either one of those.
I have more faith. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I have more faith in Hill, because I think Hill's crafty enough that you could maybe make it work. Keuchel might just stink. Hill might stink too, but at least at least with Hill, I think okay, I think he's crafty enough, and he's you can maybe wiggle your way into making him
made good pitches without having the young arm strength. The whole reason he signed back up is they said, oh, he got his fastball back up to 92. It's like, okay, but what if the fastball comes back down? Yeah. Will he still be able to go? And the answer is no.
And Hill knows who. I think Hill kind of knows who he is. He is like Tim Wakefield or kind of those, those older vet pitchers who's just like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm not going to blow it by you. I'm just going to throw you a curveball and like hope you get under it on it, or swing over it or kind of weak contact. So fits kind of perfectly within what a lot of the other Royals had done in the past 10 years for the most part. So I think Phil seems like a
the bad old days. Hooray. It's Jose Lima time.
Now I'm just sitting here thinking about, like, I want to be the fly on the wall when Seth Lugo and Rich Hill just sit and talk about pitching together.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
That would be nice.
Brian Bannister in there too. It'd be a great little combo.
I'm still angry. Like, even though we have Brian Sweeney and Zach Bove and everybody that are just doing amazing things with the pitching staff, I'm still a little bit angry that the Royals didn't bring Brian Bannister back when they could.
Would have made sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's that. And same thing with like Chris Young too. It's like there's some guys who, like, even if you offered them maybe like a job like that, they think they're like, you know what, I could be an executive. Like, I could really be a true executive and not just like, hey, I'm just going to be a coach for the rest of my life. I think Sweeney understands that. But like, I think, Bannister and Hill Bannister and Young have higher kind of expectations for themselves.
Gotcha. All right. Hey, let's go ahead and pivot from that. And let's talk about this Adam Frazier trade that Jeremy just really loves. We have to talk about it, Jeremy. We have to. Well, you know what? Before I disclose the terms.
I can't hear you.
Why do you hate it so much?
Because it doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense for either side, except for the Pirates. They shed a little bit of payroll.
That's why it makes sense.
That's it. Adam Frazier doesn't add anything to this team. He shouldn't be starting, and there wasn't any real playing time for him anyway, because it's not like Cam Devaney was getting any playing time. So, like, what are the Royals going to do with him? They're going to play him instead of John Rave? For what? Why? John Rave at least has a little bit of speed and can play a little bit of defense in the outfield. You're not going to play him instead of Nick Lofton, who's a right-handed hitter who's actually been hitting kind of okay for a week. And the Pirates took Cam Devaney and immediately demoted him again. Yeah, so they're just like, we don't want this 28-year-old in our major league team either.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty brutal.
Why does everyone hate Cam Devaney so much? The Royals finally called him up and then didn't give him a single plate appearance, not an inning of defense, not a pinch running appearance.
I don't know what it is.
And then they traded him to the Pirates, second worst organization in baseball, and then who immediately demoted him back to the minor leagues. We were all like, well, at least maybe Cam Devaney will get some playing time now. Nope.
That would be the perfect spot for him, to get that playing time that we're talking about.
Maybe they're the third worst organization in MLB. The Athletics and the Rockies and the White Sox. Okay, they're the fourth worst.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Because they don't spend any money, but at least they don't suck your soul out of your eye like the White Sox do.
Is that how you describe it?
Trying to think of a parallel for Devaney. You guys remember Clint Robinson? Everybody really wanted to call up Clint Robinson, and he did. He did get 4 plate appearances, which is 4 more plate appearances than Cam Devaney got in Kansas City. But still, and not that Robinson was any good when he went to the Dodgers and then the Nationals, but it's still one of those things, like, everybody wanted to call him up. They call him up. It's like, oh, by the way, you're out of town.
And it's not, let me be clear, this is not I can't believe they traded Cam Devaney. He's going to be a star. I've never believed in Cam Devaney particularly much. I don't think this hurts the Royals. I just don't see how it changes anything for either team.
That's true.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It feels like it's like the trade deadline is coming up in your fantasy baseball league, and you got to do something. You got to make a move. You can't just be the only guy.
I almost make any trade. I said in the Royals review Slack, I said, it almost feels like the Royals were talking to the Pirates about Brian Reynolds. They're like, we got to get Brian Reynolds from you. And the Pirates weren't coming down. And the Royals are like, well, we got to do a deal. I'm bored. I'm Jones, and I got to do something. All right, Cam Devaney for Adam Frazier. I don't know.
It's why am I blank on his name?
Ever since Dayton Moore left, we're addicted to trades now.
Yeah.
It's the drug of choice now that Dayton Moore is not here to keep us on the straight and narrow.
All right.
It's a very Dipoto move, because Dipoto would make trades just to make trades.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like.
All right, fine.
That's the Mariners GM, for those of you who don't know or don't remember.
I'll play devil's advocate. It's okay.
Okay, try, Jacob. Bring me around. Come on. I want to believe.
What? So, we've spoken so many times this year, Jeremy, about the Royals don't have a problem. They do have problems hitting, but their problems get exponentially worse when you have guys on base. When you have, okay, maybe we can at least move this guy over, or maybe we can get him in to score. Who knows? Adam Frazier, I'm sorry. He is the poster child for situational hitting. He is the
All right.
poster child.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
This year alone.
But are you gonna pinch hit him for Jack Caglione to get the runner over? Is that what we're doing here? Like, how do you implement this?
I don't know. That's the thing. This is, my opinion changes drastically if he goes back to what he was at points in 2024, like where he would go 3 weeks and start 5 games a week. Like if he goes back to that, I have a legitimate problem of like, we need to keep Matt Quatrero away from Adam Frazier. We need to keep them separated. Okay. They need, I don't know what sort of legal custody things that we have to figure out, but Quatrero can't have Adam Frazier. Okay, that's what it boils down to. If that happens, that's okay. But I feel like the pinch hitting, while it's still been a popular tool from the manager, it hasn't been nearly as productive lately. So
he's not had anyone on his bench worth pinch hitting with.
Tyler Tolbert. I mean, that's something. It was a miracle. Tyler Tolbert got a single, right? Or was it? He
got a single and stole a base.
Yeah, it's a miracle that happened, right? So yeah, I definitely get what Jeremy's point is.
Honestly, it's funny because he was in defensively for Jack Caglione, and with Sean Manaea on the mound with that crazy arm angle he's got, I really do think Tolbert was the better guy to have at bat there. There's absolutely no way you would have ever pinch hit him for Caglione. They just kind of got lucky on that one, I feel like.
I think so.
Because, he was extremely lucky to get a single, but Caglione would have been extremely lucky to get the bat on the ball the way Manaea was throwing it.
So right now, let's say men on base, okay? You have your normal guys who perform well with men on base. You know, Bobby Wood Jr., Salvador Perez. Nick Lofton has been an underrated guy. He leads the Royals with a 141 WRC plus with men on base in front of him. Adam Frazier, right now in that situation, his 108 fourth best on the Royals. Like that, there is an upgrade there. I am not saying that this is going to be the move that the Royals needed to make. This is a supplemental move. I believe that there is a thought process here. I would have loved to see Cam Devaney get a shot in Kansas City, a legitimate shot. But we spoke about Walter Pennington on the podcast just last episode. Like that was another guy who did great things in AAA. The Royals moved him for a 2-month rental of a veteran who was like, well, why the hell are we getting this guy? We already have better options. And look where Pennington is now. Look where Lorenzen is. I think that history gives me a little bit more grace with the Royals front office making this move.
I was just going to say, the move doesn't, I mean, I know I sound angry, I sound furious. It doesn't really make me angry. It just makes me confused. Just makes me wonder why we bothered. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, I would rather have just called, I know he was called up, whatever. I'd rather have just played Devaney instead of Frazier. And I mean, like, I don't know, man. It's like, I could see a world where, and look at the projection wise, like they're both almost to the T, pretty much 80-ish WRC plus projected hitters for the rest of the season. It's like, I get that. And it just seems like, yes, for the Pirates, it's a salary dump, which is pretty much always the reason the Pirates make a trade is for a salary dump. But I think it's like, if you're going to make a move, if you really want to do something to kind of help improve the team, I think you make them. Should you do it is another question. But I think if you're going to using Devaney, who has some value, using that as part of a bigger trade package, I think makes the most sense than like making an upgrade. Not even upgrade. I hate to say the word upgrade, but making a move for Frazier. I just think it's in a few weeks from now, you could just basically get an 80 WRC plus hitter off the waiver wire. Before
Royals did that last year.
Say that again.
Royals did that last year. They added Grossman and Gurriel.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. I mean, you're right. I think we all agree it's not something to get. Well, two of us agree it's not something to get worked up over. One of us is getting worked up over it. But I think we can all agree that it's not a make or break move. At least it's just like kind of a. And to me, it's like just what are we doing here?
Man, there's no baseball. I got to get worked up about something.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. Like I said, my opinion of this trade may be very, very different in 3 weeks after we see how much Adam Frazier we actually see on the diamond. But I am slightly frustrated that Cam Devaney did not get one at bat, one inning of work in the field, one pinch running opportunities.
It was so weird to add him to make the effort to add him to the 40-man roster and then not ever let him on the field. Like if he had been on the 40-man roster and you're just like, well, let's just call him up, fill in the spot. But no, they made a specific effort to get him on the 40-man roster. So weird.
If we call the MLB players out there who just come up for a blip for one game, we say that they had a cup of coffee in the league. What do you think we describe guys like Cam Devaney? Like, did they?
He had a sunflower seed.
I was gonna say an espresso. You know what I mean? It's not a cup of coffee. It's an espresso. Like you got a little shot before you go to work in the morning.
I'd say he had a glass of water or something. Like it's forgettable.
Well, I hope he makes his debut somewhere. Be a great dream for him rather than just being the clubhouse to actually be.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing with John Rave. Is not that I ever truly believed John Rave would be a difference maker for the team, but that man, he'd done all the work you could possibly ask for him. I just wanted him to make his MLB debut.
Precisely. So that's all I have on the transaction front. Of course, we are, we're not here to talk about the draft. We're going to have Matt Chabot and Greg Walker on with Jeremy and myself on Sunday to talk a little bit more about the draft. As the dust is still settling, we're getting undrafted free agents. We're getting signing updates.
Man, the Royals took a big gamble, though.
How long have you been waiting to say that, Jeremy?
I've been saying it repeatedly out loud to myself. This is just the first time I got to say it to where anyone else could hear me.
For folks who don't understand the joke, go listen to the last podcast or something. I don't know. I'm not gonna dignify that, Jeremy. I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction of explaining that. Jeez Louise. So Shaun wanted to, but before we started recording the podcast, I was like, oh, well, there's no baseball to talk about right now. What we want to talk about? But Shaun reminded me there is more baseball to talk about, just baseball to be played, not that has been played yet. So let's go ahead and talk about the second half. Now, I don't want to just do, the second half through the trade deadline, or the second half up through August. I want to look at, there's less than not 70 games.
Yeah, there's fewer than 70 games
fewer than 70 games. I was trying to do the math on the fly. It did not work. Fewer than 70 games. So, Shaun, since you brought this up,
65.
Thank you.
Left.
Thank you. I could not do the math. Shaun,
math is hard.
It really is. That's why we have guys like Shaun. So, Shaun, since you brought it up, what are you thinking? What's on the second half horizon?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what we talked about last year. I think we talked about playoff odds stuff. So I guess if I'm thinking about the second half, if we do a little forecasting or at least kind of our predictions, the Royals are at an 11% playoff odds. Are you guys taking the over, or it's hard to take the under on 11%?
Yeah.
So are you taking the over on 40% or under on 40%? Let's go with that figure there.
So
still underdogs, but not it's tough to be. Yeah, I would take the over on 11%, maybe just because you're going to give me the remaining 90% there. That if it's 12%, great, I'll take that. But yeah, let's go with 40%. What do you guys think?
I would take the under.
You would take them?
I would take the under on this.
Take the under.
Yeah. And this is all part of this forecasting is really honestly looking at the trade deadline. Because this, I think the Royals team as it's constructed right now, I don't believe that they have that historic run that the Detroit Tigers were able to make last year. I don't think that they have that in them. But of course, one reason why that everyone talks about the Tigers run last year is because they did it. Okay, the Royals could do it, and I could look like a silly goose here in 2 months, and I would love that. but I don't foresee the Royals not. They would have to be aggressive buyers at the trade deadline for me to believe.
They've already started.
Jeremy, aggressive Adam. That's what we're gonna call him. I'm gonna call him that just for you. Aggressively
All right.
Adam. That's what these Royals are. Right?
I don't know if you remember this, Jacob, but last year, up until about a week and a half left in the season, I didn't believe the Tigers were going to pull it off. I was like, they're going to fade. They can't keep doing this. And they kept doing it. So then turning around and saying, no, the Royals can definitely do that feels like a bit of a cop-out. I'm going to take the under on 40% too. I would guess somewhere in the 20 to 40% range. I feel like, and if they do buy, or, see, one of the things we were talking about last time was maybe you sell Seth Lugo and you try to add something that helps you this year and next year. Like I said, maybe they trade him for Owen Casey. Owen Casey immediately goes into the starting outfield. Maybe he helps them this year, and that's how you turn things around. But it's a lot hard. You still, if you think you should still sell Seth Lugo. This sounds really bad to say it that way, and I've said it twice, and I hated it both times. It still makes sense to trade Seth Lugo, but now you can't look at it and say, oh, well, we traded Seth Lugo, and we've still got 5 guys in our rotation, because you don't have Lorenzen or Reagans, and you might get one of them back by the deadline, but probably not both. Something's going to go wrong somewhere, just Murphy's Law. So it's a lot harder to see a scenario where they buy and sell now. So and I was saying before the podcast that selling just makes less sense to me than ever, when I just keep constantly going back to that Fangraphs article from the beginning of the year that showed just how hard it is for the vast majority of prospects to ever become useful major league players. How much the odds are against anyone but the best of the best in the prospects. We're talking like the top 1% of prospects to make it to the big leagues and be successful and to become regulars, much less stars. So to then be like, well, Seth Lugo can bring back like a 55 future value guy, is like, well, you can bring back a guy who's got a better than 50-50 shot. He never does anything at the big league level. Why do I want to sell for that? But if you sell enough pieces, then one of those fives works out. And so maybe that's the thing.
I guess though, but like what good, Lugo does not exist on the Royals roster in 2026, almost sure. And so like if you the GM's, my opinion, the GM's sole job of any sport is to really recognize how good your team is. And so if you're the GM, if you're Piccolo right now and you're looking at your roster, you see that you've got a great pitching staff, you got a great starting rotation. I'm a little less optimistic of bullpen, but you got a great starting rotation. One of the best in baseball, absolutely. But you've got an offense that has an 84 WRC plus for the year. And it's high time. I mean, we keep saying like, oh, don't worry, they've been improving. No, it's been like an 80 WRC plus all season. And we're in July. We have 65 games left. So like, yeah, they need to be putting up some big numbers to fix that number, to really kind of be that. So I think though, if you look at the picture of, if you're looking at your roster and you're saying, is this a team that can make the playoffs? It's possible. 1, you've got a great rotation. 2, you've got the easiest strength of schedule. I know you can have your opinion about past strength. If you pass this year's record or the record so far, what it means going forward, whatever. But let's just say the Royals have a fairly easy schedule. They do. You've got a great rotation, easy schedule, and you got extra playoff spots now. You got 6. Six spots, right? Yeah.
6 per league, yeah.
And so like you've got that extra playoff spot available for you now. Like it's not impossible. But you also have to say that, okay, let's say you're wild card number 3. You make the playoffs, how deep are you really going to go? We saw a better Royals team last year. Yeah, they bounced the Orioles in the first round. They scored, 3 runs doing that, 4, whatever it was. And they didn't get smoked by the Yankees, but it did feel like they were not really competitors. And even if they were, there's no way they would have beat the Dodger. I mean, they were just not they were not quite on that class. So it's hard to look at this team and be like, oh yeah, this team is going to be a true World Series threat this year. And so Seth Lugo doesn't exist next year on the Royals. So yeah, is the chances you're getting a prospect, even if you got a 50 future value or even a 55 future value, are the chances of you getting a good player high? Not necessarily from that, but your alternative is you get nothing. And I think something's better than nothing.
Well, to me, the alternative is you trade one of your 55 guys who's not likely to turn into anything, a la Carter Jensen, who I still don't believe in, no matter how much everyone tells me I should. You trade a Carter Jensen and you get a bat, and you go to the playoffs this year and say, well, now our team is better.
But like, you would need to add Suarez and Duran, and you need like 6 guys to make this team actually. If they want to do that, okay, I don't think they have the ammo to do that. But like, they're not just Eugenio Suarez away. They are Suarez and Duran and maybe Lou Bob Jr. and some bullpen help. If they get Skeens, okay, we're talking. But they're not going to get Skeens. So like, that's the point. Is like,
I tell you what. Pirates, I know you want to get out from under Reynolds' contract, so here's the deal we'll offer you. You give us Reynolds, we'll give you Carter Jensen. You just throw in Paul Skeens on top of that, okay?
Nice little sweetener.
Who says no?
I mean, it's just...
That's the trade the Royals should be making instead of Devaney for Frazier. Come on.
I know all that just to really say though, like, yeah, I mean, like, I definitely get your point. If they were a true team, like we saw the Tigers do for all Dombrowski years, your farm system exists for one reason: make your MLB roster better. Period. How you do that could be either you promote the player or you trade the player. And Dombrowski recognized that and won a World Series with the Tigers, won one with the Red Sox, and so like he gets that idea, and I think everybody agrees. But they'd have to trade the entire farm to make any sort of move, and even then, it's like, is it enough to turn an 84 WRC plus offense into...
Who in the farm would we miss?
Say what? Say it again.
Who in the farm would we miss?
But it's not even that, but it's still... What's the point, I guess, is that? Because, like, they need a lot.
Playoffs is more fun than not going to the playoffs, Shaun.
But they might not even... But you need so much to fix... It's like buying a rundown house saying, hey, this is a cheap house. Like, yeah, because it's run down. You don't want to pay all this money to fix it.
I have to say, I disagree with your premise that last year's team is better than this year's team. I think this year's team is better. I think last year's team was luckier, and this year's team is unluckier. But when I look at the raw data of the two teams, I think this team is better. Maikel Garcia is better. Jonathan India is better than Maikel Garcia was last year. They had a lot, and we talked about this and I kind of dismissed it, and apparently I shouldn't have. They had a lot of luck with driving in runners last year, and they've had abysmal luck with driving in runners this year. Now, have they been bad while also having bad luck? Yes, but they've not just been bad, they've been bad and unlucky. If they were just bad, they'd have 5 or 6 more wins.
I don't know, man, but they haven't. Last year's team had a 97 WRC plus. They were literally 13% better as a team, and that doesn't even care about that's completely agnostic on who's on base or scoring position. That's just straight up how well they hit. They walked at a high rate last year. They hit for more power last year. They got on base more last year. Like,
well, Adam Frazier is going to fix all that.
Yeah, that is true. That's fair. We got to give him 300 PAs to really figure this question out.
How do you get someone 300 PAs in 70 games?
They'll figure it out. We can do it.
He's going to lead off, baby.
A lot of extra inning games.
The Jonathan India experiment is a failure. Adam Frazier is now the starting second baseman and leading off every day. Let's go.
But no, I mean, I'm with you. But I think that I think last year's team. I'm certain at least offensively they were better. I definitely get that last year's team was very fortunate in health. Very fortunate and right. I think didn't they have 3 guys with 100 RBI, which I'm not an RBI guy.
Almost. Yeah, Vinny had 97.
Yeah, okay. Nice. That's right. It's like I'm not an RBI guy, but like, yeah, they had some good luck in that case too. But I just think that like up and down the road, I mean, they literally have 2 of the worst fielders in baseball. Well, Renfro's gone,
God.
Making the cross, but they replaced it with an even worse
He
player.
didn't die.
Yeah, I know. But they replaced it with Cagliano, who's been literally half a win worse.
Yeah, but look at his expected numbers.
They're bad. Look at them. You got to pull up his most recent. He's all, if you're thinking about the StatCast red blue bars, he's all blue except for swing speed these days, man. Like, I don't know. Anyways, I hear you.
Tell me that, Shaun. I wanted to keep dreaming.
If you think the team
expected slug is red.
Okay, I'll give you that one. You're right. Barely red. It's not bright red, but it's a little pink magenta-y. I'll give you that one.
Salmon.
But I don't know if the team is just good enough. That's just my opinion, Jacob. What do you think? I mean, would you make, if you had to choose between no further moves, let's just make it easier. Would you rather sell or buy? And knowing that if you're going to buy, you need to be going all in buys. You're not just going to buy Adam Frazier per 2 or something like that.
Right now, I think personally, I would sell over all in buy right now. And I know Jeremy, I'm not saying that your thought process on the selling doesn't
No.
I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I am also looking at, how many of the all right, let me back it up. Because I think this also played into their trade deadline approach last year when they didn't go all in buy, even though, the Lucas Urseg move I think was fairly aggressive. Um, they didn't go all in buy because you look at the roster and most of it is under contract for the next season, right? Like if I were, let's say the Diamondbacks were in the same situation, you have Eugenio Suarez, who's a pending free agent and doing what he's doing, like, then I think that team would be more likely to mortgage the future. But the Royals, they aren't a team who can afford to overcome mortgaging the future. That's one thing. And number two, I think the front office is very process based over results based, and I don't think a team like that is going to sell off so much of a farm system that is still arguably in the bottom half. So it's just not a good spot to be in. I would rather sell. Jeremy, you were saying something.
I can't remember what I was going to
Dang
say
it.
now. You made a point and I was like, oh, but I have the perfect counter argument to that point. Listen, I'm mostly playing devil's advocate here because when I think about selling, I just think about, like, I can't get excited about it. It sounds like, okay, yeah, I'm going to trade Seth Lugo for something because something's better than nothing, but also I'm probably getting nothing. Like I'm getting a lottery ticket. We always call those low level prospects like the Joey Weaver. He's a lottery ticket that got thrown into the Jonathan India trade, right? But really, like, if you trade for Owen Casey, that's a lottery ticket. Is he going to be good at the big league level? I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. And even if his odds are better than a Joey Weimer or a low A guy or whatever, it's a lottery ticket. It's a 50-50 shot kind of at best. I'm just like, I would rather trade my 50-50 shots for something that seems more likely. But I also, like, to Shaun's point, you got to add a lot to this roster probably. Oh, I remember now what I was going to say. You said that Lucas Urseg trade was an example of being aggressive. And look at how that trade has worked out. The Athletics have nothing from that trade.
Yeah.
And the Royals have Lucas Urseg. So my way of thinking is, I guess I would rather buy than sell. But you have to buy not for this year. You have to buy like a Lucas Urseg. You have to buy someone who's going to be here next year and the year after that, probably. I don't want to buy short term. I want to buy long term because the farm, I don't think is giving us anything for the next couple of years. They took all their top guys, Noah Cameron, Jack Caglione. They're all up now. So you've got maybe Luinder Avila is ready next year. Maybe Carter Jensen is ready next year. You don't have enough. As it stands, you don't have enough to fill in your gaps from what you're losing this year, from what you're already missing this year. So if you have an opportunity to add some proven talent that will help you this year and next year, I think you should do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I definitely get the bust potential point, but like if you look at the orgs that do a really good job of spreading out their bets, I guess maybe the way to categorize it is, like, you think of like the Yankees do a pretty good job, the obviously the Astros, the Dodgers, even the Rays, even too. Like when they trade guys, they are turning the Guardians do a good job too. If your organization isn't good enough to develop these 40 future value players, not even into stars, into like your 26th man on the roster or something like that, there's value in that. The Royals, unfortunately, don't appear, from at least the hitting perspective, to be an org that can, in fact, take that fringe guy who maybe came into your org as a 35, 40 future value player and turn him into a 40 plus to 45, like actually make him rosterable. Like, I kind of get that, but it doesn't mean I think you should not try it, at least. Like, there's kind of two combos here. And is the org good at developing talent? That's TBD on the hitting side, at least. And then obviously we've got the pitching side, and should they even do that? So I don't know. I mean, I get the argument that prospects are prospects, but in the end, like, the team's not good enough to, in my opinion, to make the playoffs. The saving grace, though, is that there are 9 teams right now in the AL that have a sub 35% chance of making the playoffs. All that to say that, like, whatever team gets the 5th and 6th wildcard spots might not be good teams. So yeah, I mean, there is a chance that you could win.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Yeah,
The playoff picture is just crazy. Every team in the American League has looked like except for the White Sox, has looked like a world beater for a couple weeks and looked like the White Sox for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So from the Yankees to the Athletics, everybody. So it's the playoff odds are just impossible to calculate to me for that reason, because the AL Central looked like the class of the league for a little bit. All 4 teams were like, yeah, we're going to the playoffs, and the Royals fell apart, and we were like, oh no. But at the same time, the Twins and the Guardians were also falling apart, and even the Tigers got swept right before the All-Star break and looked pretty bad doing it. So it's just, I don't know if they'll make the playoffs. I just hate selling on principle now that I better understand how likely a prospect is to do anything. And that's where I'm coming from. But I also understand that it makes sense, as you said, Shaun, to get something rather than nothing. Though I would also argue if you keep Seth Lugo, you give him that qualifying offer, you do get another draft pick. So it's like getting a prospect back for him.
Yeah, I get you. But and I should know this, that it's a mutual option, or is it a player option? I forget.
It is a player option, so he'll decline it, and then the Royals can make him the qualifying offer.
I couldn't quite remember if it was the Dayton Moore special of the team, the mutual option, or the player option. Yeah, okay. I guess it's both, but I don't know. What do you guys think? I know this is a conversation for December or November, but do you think Lugo gets, I don't know, what, 19 million, whatever the QO is this year, or whatever it'll be?
Everyone I've seen is projecting him 3 for 75. They're saying he gets the Eovaldi deal.
Wow. I think he would get big money.
Okay.
The health has been there. Right now I'm trying to think. We went into this season knowing that Seth Lugo was on a team favorable deal after the 2024 season he had. I think that it would be silly of him to not try and cash in on one more multi-year contract.
And we see enough teams out there that need more pitching that someone will pay him.
Someone will.
I mean, how many teams out there wish they had Seth Lugo right now at any price? The Cubs and the Astros, certainly. The Dodgers, probably. So that's at least 3 off the top of my head.
But you can hedge all this by just trading him. Because what if he gets hurt?
Yeah. And again, I'm mostly playing devil's advocate here because I hate trading in general. But if they trade Seth Lugo, I'm not going to criticize them. Depending on what they get back. If they get Adam Frazier for Seth Lugo, I'm going to have a problem with it. But, the idea of trading Seth Lugo, if you get a good return, which I think the Royals are doing. You talked about the Royals not developing those fringe guys. I wonder how much of that has been the truly awful drafts they had the few years before they brought in Brian Bridges. Like these, I'm convinced these aren't even fringe guys that they're trying to develop is the issue, because Caglione went through the system just fine. And I know his numbers are bad right now, but I still think he's going to be great eventually. And we've seen some other guys do pretty well too. We saw John Rave, turn up the exit velocities. Cam Devaney turned up the exit velocity. So we're seeing some signs that like development can happen, but there's only so high you can. If you don't have the talent, you don't have the talent, no matter how good the coaching is, no matter how good the development is.
I don't know how much longer we've got here. Can I play a quick game?
Yeah, sure.
We go as long as we want to go. This is the speed bus.
Okay,
we run out of road, we'll just jump it.
I'm trying to find the best way.
Jacob is our hostage
to do this one. I'm basically thinking of the game, and I'm trying to find the list. That way I can make the good list here we're going to go top to bottom in a way. You tell me so who's the worst player that you wouldn't trade on the Royals team, in a sense of start from the top. You're not going to trade Bob Witt, right? Okay, right. Fine. Work your way down. Who is that cut off?
The best player I would trade, or the
who's your worst untouchable?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Where's your untouchable floor?
Okay.
Where is that at?
Okay.
So Bobby Witt's obviously Well, I'm just looking at the list. Pasquantino, would you trade him? And with the assumption you're going to get the correct return.
Right. I wouldn't trade Pasquantino because I firmly believe that he has more value to the Royals than the numbers say.
Jacob.
I think he's a clubhouse leader that is unique in his clubhouse leadership. I don't think you can replicate that easily. And I know the clubhouse leadership, we're not supposed to talk about that as numbers guys or whatever, but Vinny's got something. He's got the juice, okay? I'm not trading him for a reasonable return. You'd have to give me an unreasonable return to convince me to trade Vinny. What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, I wouldn't trade Vinny. Next question.
How about Ursig?
I would not trade Ursig. I would not trade Lucas Ursig.
Depends on what I'd get back for him. Relievers are so volatile.
They are.
I would consider trading Lucas Ursig. I wouldn't be happy about it, but I would consider it.
Well, let's make the game you're getting a good return. Not on a super duper. You're not going to get like number one prospect in baseball, but you're going to get a good return in whatever you want to call it.
It's still hard to trade Lucas Ursig unless I'm like just tearing this down to the studs. Yeah. Because he's got all that team control left, and I know relievers are volatile. We've seen him be volatile this year. I think right now I still wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't either.
You wouldn't either. Okay. How about Michael Garcia?
I would rather extend him, but if I can't extend him, I would trade him.
Let's take extension off. You only get him for the team years you've got.
Okay, for the team years you got,
and I get a good return for him.
You're gonna get a reasonably good return. You're gonna get.
How many years of control does he have left?
Yeah. You're gonna get 20% more than your kind of normal return, if that makes sense.
So you're gonna get a 70th percentile return.
Yeah, you're not gonna get blown away, but you're gonna get a good return. It's gonna be enough that'll make you at least think about it, if that makes sense.
He's not a free agent until 2030. I think I'm still hanging on to him. He doesn't even start ARB until next year. And I still think there's more in that tank because he's only just now turned 25. So like 26 through 28 is like the prime. So I think even if you sold him now, you'd be selling low on him maybe. Yeah. So I don't think I want to trade him.
Yeah, Jacob.
Yeah, I am. That one's a little bit more difficult for me. I will say, because I think there is a case for after the 2024 season that Michael Garcia had. Well, which version of Michael Garcia is the one that we're going to see across his MLB career, right? Because like imagine, I'm sure that there were people who thought folks were crazy for suggesting, oh, we'll trade Nicky Lopez when he was in the middle of that 2021 season. And like, if you could have gotten a 70th percentile return for Nicky Lopez at that time, that would have been great. That I don't think it would have changed the franchise, but it would have looked like the smart.
But there's a difference between Michael Garcia and Nicky Lopez, right? Like a lot of Nicky Lopez's value was in his defense as a shortstop where he wasn't going to stay and on his BABIP.
He had a 104 WRC. Okay, I'm with you guys. I think he stinks. I think we all knew he was not going to be a 5.5 win player. He was in 2021, which is remarkable. But I think we all knew that was not. I think we got that. I still can't believe that figure is true. But anyways, but yeah, I think it's tough for me to be like 300 plate appearances ago, whatever. Michael Garcia was literally the worst hitter in the league for basically 2 straight years. Now he's kind of cooled off a little bit recently, but he's been a top, say, 30 hitter, top 50 hitter in the league. Like, that's tough.
He's got a higher WRC plus than Bobby.
Exactly. And so it's like, that's tough for me to like really grasp onto. So I think there's a reasonable thought, at least in my opinion, to be like, see if this breakout you can trade him if he's good, if he truly is good or whatever, or even if he's above average, better than what you were expecting him to be. You've got a winter. You've got plenty of time to think about him. I wouldn't make him a trade deadline trade if you were.
The other thing about trading Michael now is this was something that I saw a lot last year, especially from David Lesky when the Royals traded for Ursig, is that according to what his sources in front offices and stuff, once you get past a certain amount of control, it doesn't matter. You're not getting any extra for it. So if you trade Michael Garcia with 2 years of control, you're not getting any more to trade him for 4 years of control.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely true. Yeah, it's not linear, right? There is a point where
so I think it makes more sense to see if he can keep helping your team than to trade him now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, so rapid fire. We already kind of talked to Lugo. How about John Schreiber? Would you trade John Schreiber?
Trade John Schreiber.
Yeah.
Michael Walker.
His contract expires, right? So might as well.
What about you, Jeremy?
You can't trade Michael Walker. I mean, I would, but you can't because of the contract.
Everybody's healthy. Just, what do you know what I mean? Like, forget about injury.
I mean, just because you signed him to a big contract, you can't trade a guy the same year you signed him to a big contract.
Okay. I mean, the Pirates.
But otherwise, yeah, I would trade him.
Okay. Did we say Bubic yet? What about Bubic?
I have to recuse myself.
I would trade him.
You would trade. I probably, if I'm getting a good return, I think I would. if I'm getting a good return on it.
Again, I would rather extend him, but you won't give me that option. So
3.1 FWAR this season from Kris Bubic.
Yeah,
3.
That's juicy.
That is
And
more
the
than
cool
half
thing
his
is
career.
like you could trade him to an org. You could trade him to an org that develops any hitters, right? Like the Cubs. Like yeah, I mean it would be great to be able to trade him somewhere. It's like they're already baked. You could trade your the thing you're good at for an org that does something better than you do. So here's a weird one. How about Sal?
yeah, I would have traded him last year.
I like Vinny though. I do think that's a guy you can't trade because of.
Yeah, probably. My thing about Sal is I love Sal, but I really think he's overrated by the fans and the organization in a lot of ways. And I think so I want to get rid of him just because I'm tired of listening to him. Everyone tells me he's a Hall of Famer. And I'm like, guys, he's not. He's a Royals Hall of Famer, have his number retired. Absolutely. But he's not going in the MLB Hall of Fame unless something crazy happens.
Jeremy, this is also the same fan base that spent most of Wednesday afternoon decrying the fact that they traded away future Hall of Famer Cam Devaney before he made his team debut. Okay? Like, this is.
I just get tired of it. I just am like, can we just be reasonable for 5 minutes?
All right, just a few more, I promise. Is there anybody in the bullpen that's untouchable for you?
No, Steven Cruz is probably the closest, but if you get a good return for it, again, relievers are so volatile. You if you have a chance to get something for them, and with this pitching coaching staff, yeah, I'm going to trade them and trust that I can find more relievers.
I'm to think here. So the Cubs top. I'm just thinking of teams that are looking for
every Royals fan. I'm sorry, every Royals fan out there should be dreaming that the Royals can get Owen Casey from the Chicago
and Kevin Alcantara.
You know me, I'm not a huge Kevin Alcantara fan.
Yeah, but if you can get them both,
if you can get them both somehow, yeah, that would be amazing. But
yeah, I'm absolutely not advocating for Alcantara instead of Casey. I'm saying give me both of them. Come on, Chicago. Do you want a starting pitcher or not?
So, like Shaun brought up, it's the best way for the Royals to approach the deadline is for them to trade from a strength, i.e., their pitching, no matter the level, and try to get some hitters. And there are organizations out there who do a good job of developing hitters.
Even if the Royals did have Lugo next year, I would still trade him for the fact that I think they can go find another Lugo.
Once before
in the free agent market that they can get on a really good deal and have become the Cy Young runner-up.
Yeah, that could be.
Would you do? I'm just trying to think of. It doesn't quite work because he's made his debut. But let's say, would you trade Noah Cameron to the Red Sox for Marcelo Meyer, who's coming off being a Let's Stick on the top 20 prospect? Now, he kind of made his debut, so it's not completely unknown.
I'd rather have Roman Anthony, but I'd probably do Marcelo Meyer.
Well, they wouldn't trade you Roman Anthony. I mean,
well, do they want a starting pitcher or not? Come on.
He's actually good. Meyer's been bad, but again, it's such a brief debut. But anyways, would you trade Noah Cameron?
Christian Campbell has been bad too. So yeah, go ahead and dump Christian Campbell and Marcelo Meyer on me for Noah Cameron. I will take that bullet for you, Boston.
All right, there you go. That's what I was being serious. Like, would you trade Noah Cameron for a really, really great return? Is he someone you want to give more leash to?
No, because all the peripherals tell me Noah Cameron isn't this good. Like, he keeps doing it, so at some point I keep going, well, I can't believe it, but maybe. But yeah, no, if you give me a prospect like a Marcelo Meyer grade prospect, I'm going to do that for sure. Because Noah Cameron's just not there. Maybe I end up looking stupid, but I'm doing that deal.
Sierra has him at a 4.14. Noah Cameron.
I mean,
yeah.
He was
FIP's not great either, is it?
No, it's not
because he walks a lot of guys.
0.6.
No,
he only
it's
walks
still way behind where he is.
2.8 per game or per 9, which is not that bad. I mean, he was a 50 future value prospect at Fangraphs. I mean, like he's at 88th overall. I mean, like I could see him being like a Brady Singer type, where like he's not going to blow the world away, but like he can give you. A year.
I also spent as much time as I could trying to get rid of Brady Singer.
No, I agree. I didn't love him either, but I mean, that's my thought is like, I think there's an argument that you could really, maybe you wouldn't trade Noah Cameron because there's nothing about him that's like a super red flag. Like he's not always like injured or something like that. He doesn't have command issues. He could certainly be a guy that you could have for 6 years and he could be your 4th, 5th starter for that entire time period, right? That's very valuable. 2-win player. Most of these top 100 prospects, as you know, Jeremy, are not going to be worth 5-6 wins, not just 2 wins per year, 2 wins for their entire career. Many of them aren't even going to be that.
Yeah.
So you've got a pretty nice bird in hand with Cameron. I'm just trying to wonder, hey, would you guys trade him for,
Yeah, I mean, Noah Cameron, like you said, he's a 50 future value guy on Fangraphs. Marcelo Meyer is a 55. Christian Campbell's a 60. I think Roman Anthony's probably a 65. And I know that you're keeping him off the board, but you give me any of those 3 guys, I like my odds.
But that is
60 for Roman Anthony. And like I was saying earlier, as bad as the odds are for somebody 55 and under, they're very good for 60 and up. Like Bobby Witt was a 60.
Yeah.
So if you can get a 60 prospect, you should do that every time, in my opinion.
So, but I think the point that we can all agree on here is this process, this line of questioning doesn't work if the Royals don't go out and prioritize getting MLB or near MLB ready talent,
which I think they're going to do. And unlike when Dayton Moore did it, I think it makes sense because they still have, like you said, most of the roster is still here next year.
Would you guys?
And I think you have to keep Bobby Witt invested if you want to keep him on this team for his career, and you really better keep Bobby Witt on this team for his entire career.
Last one, I promise. Adam Frazier. Would you trade Adam Frazier for Cam Devaney?
You can't.
I would trade Adam
you
Frazier
have to keep him forever
and option him back.
All I know is that Adam Frazier was on this team and the Royals won. So obviously now that Adam Frazier's here, everything's fixed.
They need to
he brings the rum for Jobu.
Colo needs to have I was hacked. He needs us in the MLB front office or whatever, the commissioner office. Hey, I was actually hacked. We didn't mean to do this trade. We need it back. So it was fraud.
We actually meant to put in Brian Reynolds for Cam Devaney. Sorry. All right. Well, hey, thank you for that, Shaun. I think that is some of, I don't want to call them mental gymnastics, but those are some of the choices that front offices are going to be facing for the rest of this month ahead of the trade deadline. I do have one more question that I want to pose to both of you, and kind of like a 2-minute time limit on an answer from both of you. So
good luck.
I know, right? I've tried to put time limits on you before, Jeremy, and it has not worked. Remember when I started this pod?
I will not. Yeah, remember when you were like, we're going to do a 30-minute podcast.
All right.
I was like, at least, yes.
So the Royals have 12 games before the trade deadline. 3 against Miami, 3 against the Chicago Cubs, 3 against Cleveland, and 3 against the Atlanta Braves. Is it true or false to say the Royals need to win every series to make you believe in going all in at the trade deadline?
At least. They have to at least go 8-4.
Agree with that?
Is that your answer?
I was thinking 12 games. I think you probably need to go 9-3 in that stretch if you want to go all in.
I agree. What do you think, Shaun?
I want to say, even if they went 12-0, I don't think it'd be enough for me. Only because you're still on that
critical spirit.
No, I just think if you winning 12 straight games is no low feat, obviously. But is that going to make you think you're better than the Tigers? Is that going to make you think the Royals are better than the Yankees or
Yes.
the Dodgers? Whatever future playoff competitor they're going to be up against in the championship series or even the World Series, if somehow they make it that far. I just don't think I'd have the confidence in that team. There are, to me, a clear hierarchy of teams across the league. The Royals are not in a tier 1. Even if they won 12 straight games, it would have to be to move them into that tier 1. It would have to be a hell of a performance. I don't know what it would take. Caglione would need to homer every single game. All right, Nick Lofton would need to do. Perez would
threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, it would just take a lot to say okay, this is a tier 1 team, because you could argue.
See, this is
go ahead. No, go ahead.
This is where our philosophies differ, because I don't need them to be a tier 1 team. I just want to be in the playoffs. Just get me in the playoffs. Let's see what happens. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I've ever wanted.
Yeah, but that's the cheat meal. But I just eat some ice cream tonight before bed when you're on a diet. Tomorrow I'll worry about it. No. You pay for today. You pay for tomorrow today. So
what I'm saying is everybody said the 23 Chiefs were worthless and pointless, and they made it to the playoffs, but at what cost, and what were they even going to do once they got there? And then they took out the best teams in the sport and won the dang thing. They won the dang Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, Bezos more.
And 2014 Royals. Everyone said, okay, well, they made the playoffs for the first time in 30 years. Good for them. Now they're done. John Lester will take care of them. Oh, he can't throw to first. Okay, well, the Angels pitchers can throw to first. They can't hit. The Orioles, no, okay. Well, the Giants, okay. Well, Madison Bumgarner is a generational talent and was somehow allowed to completely take over this series. So yeah, the Giants did it, finally put an end to their run. But the Royals, nobody thought the 2014 Royals were going anywhere. All I wanted in 2014, when I was watching that team, all I wanted was a competitive wildcard game. I wasn't even asking them to win the wildcard game. I was just like, please play a competitive game. And when it looked like they were going to lose in the 12th inning, I was satisfied. I said, that was good enough for me. I just wanted competitive playoff baseball. So that's where I come from.
Yeah, but hope isn't a strategy. That's the thing. Is like it
could be.
It can't be by definition. And so I don't know. I definitely get you. It's more fun, but also, the Royals had their chance from 20. I don't know what period you want to call it. What if you want to say they were bad in 2019 till last year? I don't know. Whatever time period you want to call it. They had their chance to rebuild and really make the 26, 25, 26, 20, etc. teams good. They didn't do it. I mean, they tried. They just didn't do it. So you have to kind of be in the penalty box for a little while, I think. And not that they're in a penalty box.
Why am I getting punished?
I know.
They're still making all the money. I'm getting punished, Shaun.
But you know what? If you've been a Royals fan since 1969, you've had a lot of punishment over that time.
Only since 98, which means I waited until they were really bad.
I hear you. It's I'm an early 2000s.
I didn't even get the 80s, man.
That's true.
Hey, listen.
So, anyway,
to quote Stephen King, let me tell you something, my friend. Hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. That's true.
Little Shawshank.
Yes. All right. Hey, let's go ahead and get to some reviews, shall we?
Shaun is like, Jacob is like, please let me out of here.
I didn't know we were bringing reviews. Go ahead, Jeremy. I got to find a review.
All right.
We're still doing the Royals review.
Always. This is my one chance to talk about something other than baseball for 10 minutes, Shaun. And I know Jacob wants me to do it in 2, but I do it in 10.
Okay, let me see if I can find something. I didn't realize.
So this week I'm going to review the latest Disney Plus Marvel series, Ironheart, which was a 6-episode series. I don't know if it's getting a second season because nobody knows anything about the Marvel TV shows. I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed the characters and the acting that was done. I enjoyed the character writing. I enjoyed some of the visuals. I enjoyed some of the music. I think there was some really good stuff happening there. I also think the plot was completely incomprehensible. Like, nearly on the level of Secret Invasion. Like, almost that bad. Not quite that bad, because it's hard to be that bad, but almost that bad. I have no idea what the point of anything that happened in those 6 episodes was. I don't even know what happened to the characters. Like, I don't know what their personal arcs were, because I sure thought I knew until the last 10 minutes of the season. And then I was like, okay, so what? So I don't know if it's getting a second season. I don't know if Riri, who I hated in Black Panther 2, I know that's a thing that I shouldn't admit out loud. I hated her in Black Panther 2, but I loved her in this series. So the acting was really good. There were moments that were good, but the overall plot and the overall arcs were just complete mud, and nothing was revealed about the world or the characters that had any kind of effect that it was like, oh, so that's what this season of TV was about. It was just the continued problem of Marvel of, yeah, this just exists to set up the next thing. And if everything only exists to set up the next thing, why any of it?
Yeah, I like that. Don, do you have a review or do you need some more time?
No, I got it. I'm just going to do a Spitfire. I'm going my letterbox right now. Sorry. F1, cool movie. I know nothing about F1. It was cool to watch. 28 years later, awesome movie. I gave it 5 stars. It was amazing. Friendship, for those of you who like I Think You Should Leave. Friendship is basically, it's Tim Robinson. It's basically an hour and a half long I Think You Should Leave skit, which is great. And then 2 more. The Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. Gabriel is a bottom 1 Mission Impossible villain, and they brought him back for a second film, which is how bad that was. And then Warfare. If you haven't seen Warfare, I think it's on Hulu, I want to say at this point. One of the most iconic opening scenes you'll ever see. So that's my quick fire. If you've seen Warfare, Warfare is awesome.
Iconic is certainly a way to describe that, Shaun. Infamous and unforgettable is what I would go with. My review.
Well, I need to watch that opening scene, and then I don't have to watch the rest of the movie. Got it.
It sets the tone for the rest of the movie. My review is over a book that I finished a couple of weeks ago. It's called The Troop by Nick Cutter. It's set on Prince Edward Island in Canada. What it is it's a horror book that the whole premise is it's a scoutmaster taking like a 3-day camping trip with the Boy Scout troop. I think there's 4 or 5 boys who start off, and what it is they get trapped on this island with like a bioengineered nightmare is the best way to describe it. There's a lot of elements of Lord of the Flies in it. There's a lot of horror. I really enjoyed it. Like, this is in the genre. This is definitely a top 10 book for me, and it came out in 2014, so I'm sure some folks out there have read it already, but I couldn't suggest this book enough if you're into that.
Is the genre Boy Scout horror? What's
Yes,
the genre
obviously.
that it's in? Okay.
Horror thriller is what I would call it, or Canadian horror, if you will.
Sounds like a Michael Crichton kind of novel, almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Jurassic Park is you're on an island, a bioengineered island, whatever. But that's what I'm saying is it kind of does sound very Michael Crichton-y. Rest in peace, Michael Crichton.
Listen, I read Andromeda Strain, and I've just been chasing that high ever since.
Yeah, I was going to say, rest in peace, Michael Crichton, and whoever else I did the cross for that earlier on. Who was it that I crossed?
Hunter Renfro.
Yeah. Rest in peace to both of them.
Who again is not dead.
Yeah.
The Hunters in Kansas City don't have a great track record of coming back from Kansas City. So, alrighty, folks, we're going to go and get on out of here. Shaun Newkirk, everyone, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. It was great to have you. A great conversation. Jeremy, thank you.
See you guys in a year. I'll see you literally a year from now. We'll reconvene in 2026.
We'll pull you out of the cryo box, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, Jacob can't do podcasts this long every week.
Oh, that's true.
No, I cannot. I have limits, my friends. So, all right, folks, if you want to follow along with any 3 of us on social media, we would appreciate it. Our links are down in the podcast description below. I'll make sure to add Shaun's in there. And go check out Royals Review on social media or royalsreview.com for more of the great work that's going on over there. I am Jacob Milham. He is Shaun Newkirk. They're Jeremy Greco. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, go Royals.